Welcome to the Heidi Healing Show, where we today are diving into the very exciting world of Ayurvedic diet. My name is Heidi Northland, and I am a certified Ayurvedic doctor, yoga therapist, medical intuitive, and spiritual healer. And I am very excited to be here today with you to dive into this delicious journey that's all about food and balance and flavor. Ayurveda, the ancient Indian wellness system, is revolving around these three superstar energies. And these energies, they're called doshas. They're called Vata dosha, Pitta dosha, and Kapha dosha. And you have this unique mix of these three energies, doshas, within your body and mind, and they are constantly guiding you either into balance or they're hurting you. And so these three doshas within your system, they are constantly active, and it can be quite tricky to balance them and to know what to eat, especially because these three dosha energies, they are constantly changing. They're changing every 4 hours. Whoa, every 4 hours. So when you woke up in the morning, if you woke up super early between 2 and 6 a.m. in the morning, it would be Vata time. Then it turned into Kapha time at around 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. And then Pitta time starts at around 10 a.m. to about 2 p.m. Then in the early afternoon, Vata kicks in again. And from about 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., it's Vata time. Then again, Kapha comes on board and takes the lead between 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then again, Pitta takes over from about 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. So you can see around the clock, these doshas are constantly fluctuating, creating chaos in the body naturally. So it's our responsibility to do things and eat foods and practice self-care that helps us to balance these energies within us. These doshas, they also change within the seasons. So whenever the season change, the dosha will change with it. So in the springtime, it's dominating Kapha. In the summer, it's more Pitta time. And in the fall and the winter, it's more Vata time. And also as you age, the doshas within you, these energies that are constantly active within you, they also change. As a kid, you were more Kapha. That has to be like that, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to grow, because the Kapha energy within your body is what is causing you to grow. And then when you become a teenager, the Pitta starts activating, and that gets stronger and stronger as you progress through life in your 20s and your 30s and into your 40s. Then Vata comes on stage. The Vata gets activated more within you. All three doshas are always active within you. It's just that times of your life, they are more. So when you turn about 50 or you progress through your 40s, Vata starts taking over. And it becomes more and more important to balance Vata. If you didn't see my 2 previous Heidi Healing shows, I would encourage you and inspire and motivate you to do so, because I'm sharing about some very important oil treatments that can be used to very effectively balance that Vata dosha energy within your body and mind. It's critical if you are above 50. So if you want to watch those previous episodes of the Heidi Healing Show, just go to www.winwinwomen.tv, and there you can find all the previous episodes, or you can find me on YouTube. I'm on YouTube as well, and all the episodes will be on there as well. So as you can hear, these three doshas, dosha energies within your body, they change, they fluctuate a lot. And if that wasn't enough, If you ever picked up an Ayurvedic book or an Ayurvedic cookbook, you may have read all these long lists of things not to eat. So what to eat and how to balance these three dosha energies within your body and mind. That is what we are about to discuss today, and that's what you're about to find out. So stay with me for the next 25 minutes or so, because what you're about to learn might just be the game changer you are looking for to heal yourself and your loved ones. But before we dive in, let's just take a long, deep breath together here. Inhaling on the count of 8. Holding that breath and take up the space. Expand. And then on the count of 12, slowly, slowly, slowly exhale. In Ayurveda, food is seen as medicine. Medicine. Everything is medicine. And eating habits are personalized based upon your dominating dosha. So this personal mix of yours, of these three doshas, they decide what kinds of food will help you in your life. So for example, when Vata is dominant in your life or in the environment around you, then it's beneficial to focus on more warm foods and grounding foods. And this is especially important if you're experiencing anxiety or dryness or insomnia or restlessness. If you are above 50 years old, then it is even more important to balance your Vata dosha. Also during the cold seasons or any day when it's cold or windy or dry. Also during postpartum, after childbirth, it's very important to balance Vata because Vata is very high during that time. And also after any shocking events. That can be an accident, right? But it can also be surgery. Any shocking event that is causing fight and flight response in your system. That's when Vata is dominant, and that is when you want to seek out Vata balancing and calming foods. And then when Pitta is dominant, you require more cooling and mild dishes in your diet. And this is very critical if you're experiencing like excess sweating, hot flashes, or rashes, or reflux, burning sensation, heartburn, and also during the summer season when it's really hot. For Kapha dominance, you will benefit so much from a lighter diet and drier foods. And this is especially important if you're overweight or if your blood sugar is spiking, or if there's high cholesterol or excess congestion, and also during the spring season. Don't get overwhelmed by like, oh my God, but then this and this and this. I have all three doshas and what to balance and how to do this and so forth. That's what we are going to simplify and make it very accessible. The key is to adopt a tridoshic Ayurvedic diet. A tridoshic balanced meal. Every meal, it's possible to balance all your three doshas. And that is what you want, because then you prevent any serious imbalances that could lead to serious health problems. So now let's take a look at how you can develop a tridoshic meal, bringing the 6 tastes into every meal. Sweet and the sour and the salty. These are very common, right? And they are important because they are the electrolytes that we need. But we need equally, if not more, the bitter taste and the astringent taste and the pungent, a little bit of pungent. So we don't get enough bitter and astringent, especially the bitter. We don't get enough bitter in our diet on a regular basis. All 6 are really important, and here's why. Sweet, sour, salty will balance the Vata. but only if it's healthy, sweet, sour, salty, and only if it's in a moderated amounts. If it's excessive, it will cause problems. Then you have 3 tastes that will balance Pitta, and they are the sweet, the bitter, and the astringent. Then to balance Kapha, you have the exact opposites of what balances Vata dosha. And this is where it gets tricky. So what is tastes will balance your Kapha dosha are bitter, the bitter, same as what balances Pitta, and the astringent and the pungent as well. So you see, astringent and bitter, they're very important because they balance both your Pitta and your Kapha. When you include all these 6 tastes in your meals, what happens is that your food becomes so flavorful. It becomes a lot more fun to eat the food because it'll taste better. And you will know that the food will balance you and help you. So let's take a look at what healthy sweet foods are. Coconut is very sweet, not in comparison to if you have a piece of pastry or something like that, of course, but naturally sweet, coconut is very sweet. And we're talking healthy sweets here. So steer away from all that refined sugar that is causing toxins immediately in your gut. You can choose almonds. They're also sweet. And figs and dates, yum, mango, and vegetables, carrots and beets and yams and butternut squash. They're all sweet. And some spices that are also sweet is fennel and cardamom. So see if you can incorporate more of these sweet tastes and see if you can refrain from eating all of that toxic refined white sugar. Because when you do, you will be able to enjoy these more natural sweet flavors. Now, in terms of sour, of course, you can add lime and lemon to your foods using the juice or the zest, but you can also use tamarind. Tamarind is a very wonderful thing. This tamarind paste is delicious. You can get that in certain health food stores, but also Indian stores and Indian markets or Asian markets. You can get different kinds of tamarind to boil into your food. And you can also get mango seed powder. It's called amchur. Mango seed powder is also available in the Asian markets for the most part, or Indian stores. And they add more medicinal value in the sour taste to your foods. And then in terms of salt, it doesn't have to just be salt, especially not the refined table salt or the iodized salts. See if you can steer away from that and instead focus on Himalayan salt or the Celtic salts or the sea salts, but also seaweed. Seaweed has a lot of other properties, which is great to add to your foods. And cilantro is salty. Did you ever know that? Did you ever think of that? Cilantro and celery are naturally salty. So you add more of that to your food and you will gain more healthy benefits from your foods. Now, let's take a look at the bitter. Pay close attention now because this taste is so super duper important. And it is so overlooked and not wanting to be eaten because it doesn't taste so great, right? If you give bitter to a baby, what will they do? They'll throw it out, right? But nevertheless, it balances both Pitta and Kapha. It boosts the function of your liver, your pancreas, your spleen, your gallbladder. It promotes healthy blood. It's so important for your health and your balance and your well-being, and especially in the spring season. which is commonly known as the allergy season, right? Because so many people are suffering from allergic reactions and sinus issues. And if you want to know more about that, you can watch my previous episode of the Highly Healing Show at the winwinwomen.tv. And I'm teaching you about how you can heal allergies and chronic sinusitis on that episode. Back to talking about the bitter taste. If you drink coffee, it's very likely that you do. Most people drink coffee, right? If you drink coffee or if you drink beer, your body is craving bitter. Okay, you're already taking some bitter. Coffee and beer are bitter, but it's not the best choice. Okay, coffee is very stimulant and beer is also a stimulant, and they will activate too much of the fight and flight response in your nervous system, and they can cause an imbalance. And it also has side effects on your organs. It's not healing your liver like the bitter taste I want you to know about, which is to include spices in your foods. So we have a wonderful plant called fenugreek. Fenugreek. And we have fenugreek seeds. They are little brown, very hard seeds. So you want to boil them into your food. But you may not be familiar with fenugreek so much because it's not known so much, which is sad, really, because it has so many wonderful properties. If you can't find them in your grocery stores or the health food stores, you can get them online. But if you can't find it, you can go to my website at HeidiHealing.com and contact me, and I'll be happy to steer you in the right direction on where you can find these amazing little seeds. Fenugreek is known as methi in Sanskrit, and it improves your digestion. It balances your blood sugar, very important, right? It helps with the absorption of your nutrients. Fenugreek is also very important in postpartum. So if you know anybody that has just had a baby, gift them a bag of fenugreek seeds because it promotes and increases the breast milk. So you can use the fenugreek seeds in soups and stews by simply throwing in a tablespoon of the seeds, and they will boil in and share their medicinal value in the food. But you can also make a tea out of it, boiling the fenugreek seeds and then adding a little lime or lemon and then a little honey in it. It's a delicious tea. It really is. It tastes very good. The fenugreek has a little bit of flavor like a maple syrup. And the fenugreek leaves are used as a vegetable. You can get those in the Indian markets. It's very common in India. And it would be so wonderful if you would adopt this practice of incorporating this wonderful plant into your meals. It will love you and help you to digest your foods much, much better. Let's take a look at the astringent taste now. Astringency. You may not know, but you actually, every single time you eat a salad, you get astringent taste into your body. Every single time you eat something raw, you get astringent taste. And also legumes, beans, and lentils, they're also astringent. And all of the spices that have a bitter flavor, besides the fenugreek, I should also mention bay leaves. They're very bitter and astringent. Very wonderful. You can add these into your soups and stews as well. Just heat a little oil on the pan and then put the bay leaves in there, and they will spread their flavors and their medicinal values. You also have thyme and oregano. The more Italian spices, they're also bitter and having some astringency to it. So very good to add more into your diet. Then, of course, there's turmeric. Turmeric is an incredible spice that is also helping prevent a lot of imbalances in your body. And so do cumin and coriander and nutmeg. Coriander, cumin, and nutmeg. See if you can incorporate more of these amazing spices into your diet. And also the pungent. Now, I'm sure you get lots of pungent because every single time you go out to eat Thai food or Mexican food or Indian food, it's very spicy. Salsas, curries with lots of garlic. And we do need a little pungency for the kapha, but it's usually taken in way excess. So please be careful because just a little bit of too much pungency in the spring and the summer season and even in the fall will flare up the pitta, because the pitta is the fire element and pungent taste is fiery. All of the doshas are associated with different elements in your body. And that is what makes Ayurveda so incredible, because when you understand and gain insight into what you're made up of, you can balance yourself, you can heal yourself. Let's take a look at what other pungent foods we could choose instead of all of the garlic and the chilies and the jalapenos. Ginger. Ginger is a wonderful pungent because there is something important about the aftertaste of every single food that goes into your stomach. It has an aftertaste. One thing is what it tastes like when you get it in your mouth. Another thing is how it reacts in your stomach. And ginger has a sweeter aftertaste. So it's not so pitta imbalancing. The same thing with pipali, which is an Indian kind of pepper. It's long pepper. You also have mustard seeds. They're also very pungent, but they increase circulation in your body. So it will help the pitta to move out the body. And it is, in its natural benefits, very anti-inflammatory. So if you can choose the pungent taste that is anti-inflammatory, like the ginger, the mustard, the pipali as well, then you won't provoke pitta as bad. Even cinnamon and cloves have a lot of pungency to it, and they got so much flavor. So you can just put them in your soups and your stews, and you will help to balance and heal your body by improving your digestion. Cinnamon also balances the blood sugar. There are long lists of medicinal values of these digestive spices. So do yourself a favor and incorporate them more into your food and experiment with them. I'm going to teach you a spice mix that can be used for every single vegetable dish in just a moment. So stay with me here. I want to give you a specific example of the tridoshic balanced meal. So you want to include lots of different vegetables, all the colors. They all have different colors for very specific reasons because they do different things in your body. They heal different things. Purple color is really great for your brain, for example. So even though that the potato has been given such a bad rap, it actually can help you boost your brain cells, the purple potato. And broccoli and cauliflower, green beans, yams, and Brussels sprouts and carrots and beets. There's so many wonderful ones, the pumpkins and all the squashes and so forth. So if you have a steamer, I love an electrical steamer because you can get some that have a timer on it, and then you don't over steam it. If you just put them in the electrical steamer, you set the timer for however long you want, and ding, it dings, and then they're done. Then when they are done, you heat a little oil on a pan. I prefer cast iron pans or stainless steel pans because they don't have aluminum in them. The aluminum is a problem. It is kind of sad that we focused so much on aluminum stuff in the past, but now we are gaining more insight and knowledge. Unfortunately, because a lot of people have suffered from health issues associated with the aluminum, but now we know better and steer away from it. So if you have any aluminum pots or pans in your kitchen, keep giving them to the trash company. There is no use for them. The oil. Oh, let me say a few words about the oil for you, because it's a question that comes up so much. Which oil should I use? And it's a really great question, because there are some harmful oils that you really want to stay away from. So the oils to focus on, ghee is a very wonderful one. That's the clarified butter. You can make it yourself by simply getting unsalted, organic butter and boiling it up for a few hours. And then you will see all the milk solids foaming up and then slowly settling to the bottom. And then you can strain it and you have this delicious oil that is so incredible to balance all three doshas. All the milk solids have been taken out, so you have this beautiful clear oil. Coconut oil and high heat sunflower oil, safflower oil, avocado oil. These are great oils to cook in. The ones to steer away from are the ones that are just strictly called vegetable oil. They are usually soy oil and they're usually genetically modified and very harmful for the whole being, the whole body. And so is canola oil. Whew. I know it's very controversial, but see what you can do to steer away from the canola oil. Why? Well, if you look up the canola plant, you will not find it, okay? There is no plant called canola oil. It is a made-up name in Canada for Canadian oil. So canola oil is originally wild mustard oil, rapeseed. The wild mustard, the mustard oil, was banned in the US, and it's also banned in England. And why is it banned? It's because it has these high levels of erucic acid, and they are harmful for the heart. They can be. And they discovered associated heart issues with the use of mustard seed oil, mustard oil. So it's banned. And because there's so much of this rapeseed that is growing in Canada, they were not very thrilled that all of US banned the mustard oil, right? Because it's a huge loss. So Canada won a lawsuit and was able to come up with a new creation of their rapeseed oil that they call canola oil. And it has been very processed, so you cannot tell, smell, or see that it's mustard oil. All right, enough about that. Back to our delicious tridoshic meal plan. You got your veggies steamed, you got your oil heating on the pan. Now it's time to add digestive spices. And here's that great spice mix. It's a spice mix that you can use for all vegetables. So when the healthy oil is warm, ghee, coconut oil, sunflower oil, avocado oil, safflower oil, you add a little pinch of mustard seeds. It can be these brown seeds, but it can also be the yellow ones. I like these black ones. They're a little bit smaller, and I think they have a little bit of a better flavor. And then you put those on, and they will start popping like popcorn. And when they do, you can put cumin seeds on there. I love the smell of cumin seeds. So good. These are different than caraway seeds. They look very much the same. Caraway seeds are just a little bit darker. Cumin seeds, they are very wonderful. And then add cumin powder, coriander powder, a little salt, a little black pepper. And then fresh grated ginger is very wonderful. It adds such flavor to your foods. Then you add your veggies, your steamed veggies. You can squeeze some fresh squeezed lime juice or a lemon, and voila, you have an amazing veggie dish that will go along with pretty much anything that you make. And you can use this spice mix with all vegetables. It'll taste great. Now let's talk proteins, because we do need proteins. And most people eat proteins that are very difficult to digest, a lot of heavy meat. And there are so many other proteins available to us that are much easier to digest. And here are some of them: lentils, beans, and nuts, and seeds, and quinoa. Quinoa is not a grain. Quinoa is a seed. Quinoa, very high in protein, Not in comparison. If you literally compare the protein in how much protein is in the quinoa compared to meat, obviously the meat has a lot more. But we're talking the digestible protein. Digestible protein. That is what's key. It's so key that you digest your food. It's so important that you digest your food. Why? Why is there so much talk in Ayurvedic medicine and also Chinese medicine for that sake? Why is there so much focus on digesting the food? Here's why. If you do not digest your food, it will stay in the stomach. And when your undigested food stays in the stomach, it'll turn into this sticky, slimy, disgusting mass that will start spreading in through your body. And every one of us, we have weaknesses within our body that we're born with. In Ayurveda, that is called Kapha. And the toxins of those undigested food particles, they will find those weaknesses in the body and they will lodge there and they will start a disease process. And this is exactly how the imbalance begins in the body. Because when this sticky, slimy mass is there, it will start causing imbalances in the dosha energies, and then the doshas will start creating problems as well. And then you got the mess, and that the disease process will begin. So you see how important it is to digest your foods. So when you cook lentils and beans, it can take a long time, right? But if you get a pressure cooker, and nowadays we have so many amazing options, right? Because you can get the slow cookers and they have the pressure cookers all in one. Get one of those and put your lentils and beans in there with lots of water and cook them down. Because when you pressure cook it, it will reduce the phytic acid and the lectins, and those are interfering with your digestion. So when you pressure cook the legumes, lentils, and the beans, you are able to digest them. Lots of people say, oh, beans give me gas. Yeah, because they weren't cooked properly. Okay. Another thing to do, cook them with turmeric, lots of turmeric. Cook them with the fenugreek seeds. Cook them with cinnamon stick. Put some cinnamon sticks in there and it adds flavor to it. Cook them with cardamom pods. Oh, cardamom. Wow. In India, they put cardamom in all their sweets because it helps to digest the heavy sweets. So you can add all these wonderful things. The tamarind you can add in there, the bay leaves you can add in there. And it comes into this flavorful, amazing soup or stew. Okay, so this way you will develop an amazing lentil soup. You can do all sorts of things with these amazing legumes. Okay, so now you have your delicious veggie dish, you have a protein, and then on the side for kapha, you can have a green salad with mixed greens, avocado, cucumber, carrots. Dress it with a little bit of walnut oil. Walnut oil. I know we're so accustomed to use olive oil all the time, but the thing is that there is produced way more olive oil than there are olives on this planet. So that gives a little food for thought that, oh, maybe there's a lot of olive oil that's not actually olive oil. So be careful when you pick your olive oil out. Find a technique of some muscle testing or energy testing that can confirm when you find a high quality product. We're going to talk a lot more about that in future shows about how you can activate your ability to test high quality products so you know that you're taking good things. Okay. You can have this walnut oil. It's very good for your brain. Walnut oil. And it really doesn't taste much different than a lot of other wonderful oils. You don't want to cook it, okay? That is not an oil for cooking. Similarly with the olive oil, you don't really want to cook these more delicate oils. They have such high levels of monounsaturated fats in them. You want to use the more saturated fats for high heat cooking. you can add a little of the fresh squeezed lime or lemon on your salad and a little balsamic vinegar, and you have a very delicious side dish. You can also have some chutney or pickles to add flavor to your foods. Can you imagine this meal? It is so good. Anybody who has eaten with me and had a taste of my cooking, they love it. So, what to drink with your meal? The ideal beverage to have before your meal and after your meal is a little bit of tea. Herbal tea like ginger or chamomile or peppermint or tulsi or other kinds of herbal teas like caffeine-free chai teas and so forth. Rooibos is very wonderful. Then for dessert, you can enjoy a date or a fig or a cup of hot chocolate made with raw cacao and a little honey and some homemade almond milk. I really like the homemade almond milk or plant milks because they are free from all the preservatives that are added to it. Don't you wonder why plant milk can last for like a month in the fridge without going bad? If I made my homemade almond milk, it would last 5 days in the fridge. That goes to show about all the preservatives and so forth that is added to it. So you see these little tweaks, and you just have to choose the different items when you go shopping. It makes such a big difference because, again, it will help you to digest your foods and it will help you prevent all of those yucky toxins from the undigested food particles. You haven't heard me talk very much about grains and dairy, and there's real reasons for that because they are very heavy, they're very sweet, and they're very heavy, and they are difficult to digest. There was a study comparing a whole wheat bagel with a Snickers bar, and it showed the bagel has a higher glycemic index than the Snickers bar. So if you think that you're eating healthy by enjoying a whole wheat bagel for breakfast or a snack, your glycemic index is going to spike like crazy. Your blood sugar is going. You want to be careful with these heavy, sweet things. And it does include all of the animal dairy products as well, and rice as well. It was discovered that the rice that is grown in the southeast part of US, which is a lot of rice, it's grown in the fields of where cotton used to be grown. And one of the pesticides that they would use in these fields for the cotton to get rid of this cotton beetle, those pesticides to kill that, to save the cotton, was full of this calcium arsenate. So the soil is full of this arsenate, and the rice uptakes it in the plant very readily because this calcium arsenate mimics one of the minerals that it's taking from the earth. So rice is very high. A lot of rice in this country, the one from the southeast, which is most of the rice, is full of arsenic. So these are some foods to limit and not eat so much of. But that said, there are lots of other grains that you can include more of in your diet, like buckwheat or amaranth or millet or oats and teff and sorghum in moderation, right? It's just fine. And I have an Ayurvedic cookbook, Turn Your Spice Rack into a Medicine Cabinet. And it's filled with delicious recipes and also many home remedies to heal your gut and help you maintain great health. And it's available on my HeidiHealing.com website in the shop. So just go there, and if you use the coupon code Cooking with Heidi, you'll save $10 on this cookbook. So just go to my website, HeidiHealing.com, and then use the coupon code Cooking with Heidi. Now to something else that is really important, but not very common knowledge. And that is the importance of your mental and your emotional and energetic state when you're preparing your food. Your state of mind literally influences the food that you're preparing. And when the meal is prepared with love and gratitude and joy, the food carries your positive energy and enhances the nourishment and the healing properties of the food that you're eating. But on the other hand, if you're stressed out or angry or upset, this negative energy will transfer to the food as well and affect those who consume it. So meal prep is just not shopping for the food and cooking it. It's also preparing your mental and emotional state. It's very important. And also that you set an intention. So next time you make a meal, see if you can set the intention and do it right now. Take a long, deep breath and choose to set the intention that the food you're eating and the food that you're serving is for your own greatest good and for the greatest good of all. Take some conscious, long, deep breaths right now and intent that. Set that strong intention for yourself. Take time to center yourself, breathing with awareness. So choose to prepare healthier food for yourself and your loved ones. Choose to always take a moment before you eat your food to feel grateful, to tune into the consciousness of the food that you're about to eat. There is consciousness within everything. And when you connect with it, you connect yourself, you prepare yourself for ingesting that food that you're about to eat, and it will be digested so much better. Before I eat, I will always focus healing energy into the food that I'm about to eat. I often use my hands. We use our hands so much, so it's easier to focus healing energy out through our heart, into our arms, and out through our hands, and then into the food. And I can literally feel a change in the energy of the food. I'll start feeling a vibration that is happening, and I feel a union of the food that I'm about to eat. It's like I make friends with the consciousness that is flowing through the plants. And if you eat meat, it's especially important because then you are connecting with the animal consciousness. My wish for you is that you enjoy greater health, that you are experiencing well-being, so you have a greater joy of living this life, because whether you feel it or not, being in your physical body on this planet Earth is a rare gift. And I want to thank you so much for showing up here today. And I'm very grateful for our paths crossing. If you're suffering from any health issues and you are looking for some help, looking for some expert advice, please reach out, contact me on my website, HeidiHealing.com, and you can just click on the Get Started Now, and you can schedule a free call with me where we can explore and discuss what best options are there available for you at this time. My name is Heidi Nordland. I look forward to connecting with you again. Namaste.